Hey, what's up, everybody? Good to see you. I'm still alive. I've had some emails and stuff, some people kind of concerned. I haven't been doing many videos here lately, much flint napping, so figured I'd do one, let y'all know I'm still kicking and actually doing really well. So, but I do appreciate your concerns, and it's nice to know that there's some people out there that care. So, but yeah, I'm doing real good, and just haven't been doing a whole lot of flint napping, and the little bit I have been doing, I haven't been filming. So, woke up this morning and I thought, you know what, let's make a video today. So, I've got a couple pieces of Buffalo River Chert. I've got a couple pieces of Horse Creek, um, and a piece or two of Hornstone in here I'm going to try to work on today. So, I think I'm going to work on one of the Buffalo River pieces first. I'm going to try, we'll use the copper boppers, lead-filled copper for the percussion part, and then I'm going to try to use all antler and whitetail antler and buffalo horn for all the pressure work. And maybe even try to punch notch with some whitetail antler instead of the horseshoe nails. So we'll keep our fingers crossed and see how it goes. For whatever reason, I found that if I layer a couple pieces of leather on my leg and then I drape this longer piece over the top, it keeps it from wanting to work its way off one side or the other and fall off your leg. I don't know, not exactly sure what the reasoning behind that is, but for some reason it seems to help when I hang this, especially when I got this softer piece, longer piece kind of draped over the top of it. Maybe it's my imagination, but definitely seems to make a difference. I hate when it keeps falling off your leg and you got to keep adjusting it. Alright, so I'll just kind of show you all what I'm thinking here. This is a couple pieces, a little piece of Horse Creek. This is some real high quality stuff here. It's super slick. And then this one here could actually use some heat probably, but I might go ahead and chip it raw. But I'm thinking I'm going to work on this one here first. So, you know what? I've got a Snyders Point to make. A friend of mine's wanting a Snyders, so let me see if we can maybe finagle a Snyders Point out of here. So I've got a lot of dished out area over here. This is nothing but concavity, which is what we don't want. We want convexity, so what I'll probably do is try to flatten this off over here first by removing this ridge and a portion of this thickness here and around this area. So we'll just try to get this flat first, and then we'll have this material back here to work with. I think that's probably my best candidate for a Snyders. That one there would probably, we use this one for a backup. This piece has been heat treated. All this Buffalo River has. Ease into it here. You know, those really defined pointy platforms when you get through there on a steep edge like that are fine, but they won't do you as much good as sometimes if you just go ahead and knock them back and create a little bit more convexity and less isolation. Sometimes it seems to work better. When they get too pointy and hanging down like that, you usually just end up hitting it, and it just removes that little bit of that, you know, the material that's really isolated. It'll take it off, and then but it won't get in and remove a very wide flake. So here I've just got a continuous platform. It's all kind of the same contour going through there. So instead of hitting on the edge, just working my way down, I hit right in the middle, and that will actually isolate an area here, but it's not too isolated. You know, I trimmed it back, and it's all kind of, you know, I've got plenty of thickness on my edge and stuff there, so. Okay, this stuff is, you gotta be careful with it, because when you heat treat it, it gets really nice and brittle. If you're used to working especially tougher raw stone, you get a piece of this, you can get frustrated really quickly because it'll break on you if you're not supporting it right and hitting it just right. It will break on you. Pretty good material, it looks like. You got a little bit of dry stuff right down here where it's getting out closer to the cortex. I think I'll be okay once I get in past that. Get rid of some of that material up there. I just kind of sheared it off there. So we've Got this big square edge here to contend with. Take that down a little bit. Let's see if I can run one up in here and maybe even meet up with this step over here. Get rid of that rough spot there too. The rest of that squareness off there. Alrighty. Looking pretty good. I can probably downsize a little bit on my bopper. Just kind of try to even this out a little bit here on this edge. Okay, I've turned this edge down here a little bit. We'll try to remove some of this mass, this bump here. Start by taking one in the middle there. That should give me an area to hit here and here. Start thinning our base out here. Bumper here is not working real well. It's a little bit too light. Try this one. Concentrated on slowing my swing down a little bit there and not blowing that edge off there. It's kind of a low platform, so hit kind of straight into it. Slow swing speed and remove that nice flat flake. Come down here and get one of those too. Should have known that was going to happen. Ran in there and hit that step fracture and stepped again. Okay. So this side's pretty good, and this surface here is not too bad. So what I'll do is flip it end for end, and I'll come back and work on the other side here. And to prepare that edge just a little bit. Okay, starting to flatten out pretty good over here. There. That edge was less than ideal, but I hit it anyway and it worked. I'd say if you haven't experimented around with your swing speed at all, I would definitely suggest it because it can make a big difference. A lot of times when you think you need to be hitting it harder for whatever reason, if you just slow down and concentrate on, try to visualize the flake coming off before you take the flake. You know, you see it happening before you do it. It'll seems to help too. But if you just slow down and concentrate on that, getting a good contact, your tool making a good solid purchase on the edge, getting that flake to come off cleanly, it'll make a big difference sometimes. For me anyway. Let's see, that edge was a little bit high, that platform. You know, you'd think instead of wanting it up here, you'd want it down a little lower maybe, but in order to get underneath that step fracture there and remove that rest of that hump, I hit a little bit higher edge and supported it well with a lot of inward hit force when I hit, and that was able to undercut that step fracture and remove that mass right there. It really helped us out. There'll come a point, and it'll happen like all of a sudden when things will start stepping, and if your flakes aren't thick enough, they'll be breaking off, and it has a lot to do with the brittleness and the softness of the material you're using and how thin your edge is. When your edge starts getting thinner and you try to start working off that thinner edge, you'll see problems start happening. Usually that's a sign to go ahead and grab your pressure flaker, or to try to slow your swing speed down a little bit and start preparing your edge a little bit better before you hit it. Making sure it's thick enough. I hate that when the flake kind of rolled out there. It'll come up from the base and help that. Boy, a friend of mine found a humdinger the other day. I'm not sure if he's announced it yet, so I won't say who it is or what it was, but if you guys have seen it, I'm sure if he has announced it or showed it yet, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. It was definitely a find of a lifetime for anybody. Absolutely amazing. He deserves it too. If anybody deserves it, it would be him. Alright, we're starting to get somewhere here. Slowly but surely. There we go. Alright. So, you just try to clean this base up a little bit with some pressure, and I'll try to punch these notches in. Just cut this new piece of leather here, so we'll see how it works. You know, for a long time I thought when I was using an Antler pressure flaker I needed to have it real pointy, and there is a time and place for that, but in general I would say you don't really need your Antler pressure flaker like super duper pointy. You know, like something like this is fine. This works good and it's got its place, but in general, and this is even sharper than I would usually use it. It was really blunted off before. But it has more to do with the amount of contact you're making with the edge and the pressure you're applying as to what size flake you get. Alrighty. Let's see if we can punch some notches in there. just stuck a new buffalo horn in here. It's a little extra long right now, but when it's long like that, I usually just hold it, down on it when I'm using it until it starts wearing down. But I didn't have a piece in here for a long time, and this is the one I use for my punch notching. This piece of Antlers, I like the weight of it and stuff. I've kind of got used to punch notching with it, especially with the horseshoe nails. You can kind of see where it's all beat up from using it for a hammer. But a lot of people thought the hole in there it's just something to do with like the harmonics or the weight of it or something, and it wasn't. There was quite a few people thought that when I was using it like that with my punch notching, but it's not. It's just a hole I have in there to insert a composite tip. So got another piece of little whitetail brow tine here. Let's see if we can get us some notches started up in here. These Snyders Points are a good one to practice your punch notching on because they're nice and open. I actually prefer the Antler to the metal horseshoe nails for a lot of point types and material, this being one of them. This heat-treated Buffalo River works really well with Antler. here and see what we can do. So there's a couple things I'm doing right now when I'm just working around the edge here. I'm moving my edge up and down, and I'm steering my notch, keeping it going in the right direction. I want enough area in there where I'm not gonna grab the edge when my tool follows through. Although usually you can keep it from following through too much by the way you're hitting it. A lot of people will let their tool glance off the back of the punch. You'll see them, it'll just be a glancing blow. It'll just barely hit. One guy that does that is, I notice, is Silas Chapman. He does that. A lot of people do. It helps keep your tool, especially if you're using a thicker punch. It keeps that tool from wanting to follow through and, you know, grab your edges and knock a barb or your base off. Might be able to sneak one more. Getting kind of steep in there. That'll help. I don't know about that. I got a bad feeling about that. Let me cheat. Cheat for a second here. Let's see if I can get a small one out of there with this horseshoe nail. The reason I'm unsure of it is because I've got, you see those little steps in here? So where that flake came off yep, right there, it left a little step, and it's just kind of crunchy and munchy in there, and it's not ideal, and it's really steep. So what I'll do is just try to get I'll set this horseshoe nail probably either right in there or right on that step, somewhere right in here, and try to just get a small flake, probably right there. See if I can eliminate that. If I can get it to release back this way, right in here, it'll get rid of this stuff. And then I can come back from this direction and get one. Hopefully. That didn't work. Let me try it from this side. That flake, it didn't go not a millimeter that way, and it went completely this way and took off my part of my base. There we go. That'll do it. Usually round up my base a little bit anyway, so it didn't really hurt me as bad as you might think. Let's see if I can get one right here to get rid of the rest of that stuff. Oh yeah. There it is. All that mess, all that trouble that little mess right there caused. I forgot to zoom back out, didn't I? Yep. Sorry about that. You didn't miss much. on that ordeal. Let's see if I can get one more in here. Not too bad. So, just trying to do some pressure work here. There's another point that's in the Snyders family that I can't think of what they call it right offhand. One of y'all will know, I'm sure. They're usually a little bit longer and more narrow than a Snyders, but they got the same base. I can't think of what they call them right offhand. Just give her a little rub down with the braider there. Tell you what, there's just no substitute for using antler pressure as far as making one look authentic. Copper just does not produce the same effect. Switch over to this finer antler here. So I can fine tune it a little bit. I was making one to use, I'd probably leave it right about there with those jagged little toothy edge on it. If I was using it as a knife. Of course, when you find them, they usually look a little bit more wore down and got a smoother edge on them. I assume from weathering and use wear. Hammer down just a little bit on that edge. Alright. Guess that'll work for the Snyders Point. I think I might need to bring my corners in just a little bit more of my barbs here. Give it a little bit more of a rounded look. Like I said, it looks a little bit more like that. I guess it would be a subtype of a Snyders. whatever that thing's called. I can't think of it. Yeah, I think that'll work. Alright, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Sorry I got out of frame there for a couple minutes. Forgot to zoom back out. Gets me every time. But yeah, happy with it. Alright guys, hope that helps, and we'll catch you on the next one. I'll try to keep them coming. I'll talk to y'all later. Thanks for watching.